It's a bear. That coin lies. Good Monday morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live Deerfield cam up, and boy, it is very hazy, very murky out there. You can see the fish almost right when they come up on you, but compared to some days out there, take a look at this. You can't even see the other pylon. And this is kind of like what life is right now. Very murky and very hazy what's going on out there. These precious metal markets kind of caught me by surprise, or did they? What's your opinion? Did they catch you by surprise as well with this Black Swan Russian event? And really, was it a Black Swan, or is it something we expected? Well, let's talk about some things, and mostly precious metals here today. And let me put the screen down here and go into the meme for the day, or not the meme, but the quote for the day, which is, in war, truth is the first casualty. And I was going to pronounce I was going to try to pronounce this name right here. I think it's a Greek name. What is it? Aeschylus? All right, some of you can correct me out there. I probably should have looked before I quoted that, but very, very true, and I think we're finding this is even more true today than it ever has been. In war, truth is the first casualty for sure. All right, let's get out of that. We'll maybe get back into that a little bit later, and let's talk about precious metals. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, it was a wake-up morning, or last night, actually. We saw $2,002 gold, almost $2,003 last night. Take a look at the high here, folks, and a low of 1962.87. Man, metals were just rocketing up before I went to sleep. I said, boy, they might break 2,000, and they did last night overall. But right now, down about 20 bucks from where the high is. Again, the low 1962 is where it started from last evening to a high of $2,002. I mean, we broke the $2,000 mark, folks. Pretty much right now, it's just a matter of when it's going to close above that level. Silver 25.47, and even better, take a look at that. 26.16 is a high. We pretty much blew right through the 25s, hit that 26 level, and we are certainly above that 200-day moving average. But again, the monkey hammering kind of happened this morning, and you can guess where. We'll take a look at the 24-hour charts here shortly. And platinum holding on to that $1,100 plus range. Palladium shooting above that $3,000 mark pretty handily. And again, that's something I expected, especially since most palladium comes out of Russia. And with the sanctions now, that's going to be an interesting metal to watch. I wonder what kind of industrial applications it has, and if it's going to cause any issues as far as inflationary issues with products and things like that. We'll see. Well, let's take a look at the 24-hour charts and see where this action occurred. Of course, gold last night bumping above that $2,000 mark, and take a look at this. When did this happen? It actually happened in the early morning markets before New York open. Looks around, let's just say 6 a.m. Is that something about 6 a.m. or 4 to 8, so that's about a 4-hour stretch right there. Yes, okay, 6 a.m. It looks like gold kind of topped out at that $2,000 mark, and kind of got a little hammered there, backed off a little bit, still, well, let's see here, backed off below where it started, and got monkey hammered again right around the New York Crimex markets here, and slingshot back up and sideways. Let's see what happens today, but I think we're going to break that $2,000 mark not too far off in the future, unless, again, a ceasefire, a long-term ceasefire agreement kind of comes into play here, and the political sanctions start to back down and all this starts to back off. But, I just don't see it happening now. I think that everything's been put in motion, and things like this and global events like this are like snowballs. They start out real small at the top of the hill, and by the time they get to the bottom, they crush everything. I think that's what we're starting to see right now, and this snowball may be a little too big to stop anytime soon. However, we can all pray for peace, and I think that's the smartest thing for every person to do. The real wealth is in peace, and then what comes from peace is prosperity. Well, let's take a look at the silver markets right here. Same thing happening. Broke that $26 mark a couple times last night. Looks like 4 a.m., 6 a.m., right around that time. And then shortly after that, bang, take a look at that. Tell me that ain't a monkey hammering and a half. There's the monkey hammer and there's the half. However, it seemed to recover back and slipped above that $25 mark and now sitting in that mid-25 range. I'm cool with that. Silver does make some big moves up and down. And don't forget, there's great forces at work to bring this price back down. That's what you're seeing right here. You're probably seeing big short positions and that kind of thing, trying to tamp down these silver prices before they have major losses. The big four commercial banks on Crimex silver market and the even BOFA right now with their 800 million ounce short position, they better start hurrying up, otherwise they're going to hemorrhage on this whole deal. That is huge losses for BOFA, and just as big losses for the big four commercial shorts in the Crimex silver markets that have continually done this kind of activity right here. But this is forced on them. Right now, the big four commercial short positions out there, and BOFA, they don't really have much of a choice than try to monkey hammering these prices down and try to claw back every ounce and every loss, potential loss that they can here at this point. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. They may even pull out all the stops. Let's see if the Crimex markets prevents them from even becoming more overtly manipulative. I doubt it. And let's see what the CFTC does. Again, I doubt it. However, I believe that the shortage of physical products themselves, SLV is hogging up a lot of, in fact, Mr. Butler talks that SLV is owed like 25 million ounces or something like that. Or did I get that wrong? 25 million? Or yeah, it's owed a lot of ounces right now at physical for SLV. And again, BOFA needs to fill that physical position, that derivative they got from JP, according to Ted Butler. So physical is going to start wagging. In the past, the tail has always wagged the dog. And what I mean by that is the dog is physical and the tail is the paper markets. And in the past, for decades and decades and decades since the markets were created at Crimex, again, Comex in my opinion, I call them Crimex, the prices have been manipulated by these big commercial positions, only to manipulate markets downward to their advantage, and it's collusive. It's collusive. They all do it together at the same time. So I digress. There's your first drink, actually. I digress. So my point being here is that the physical is the dog and the paper is the tail. Paper markets are the tail, and the tail has always wagged the dog for a long time, price discovery and all this stuff. But I believe that the dog is running low on resources. There's not much silver available out there right now, and I believe that the dog, the physical, is going to start wagging the tail again, and that's kind of what we're seeing in these markets when they move above 2,000 and silver starts moving above that 26 range. And again, there's the tail right there trying to knock prices back down. Who is the tail? That's the paper markets at Crimex. Let's take a look at what commodities, oh my gosh, not commodities, but the equities markets are doing, and they're getting pretty much hammered again. As I said, not an overnight crash. I don't think we'd ever see one of those again. I think that the Fed and the governments are working behind the scenes to prevent an overnight crash, and they're probably out there supporting a lot of shit right now in equities. Again, my opinion, my conspiracy theory. But no less, they're going to allow it to die a death of 1,000 cuts, which is probably a lot less painful in their eyes to them than it would be for us. Again, in my opinion, let the whole rotten deal collapse. And people say, well, what happens to all those assets? People's money and stuff like that. Well, you know what happens when companies, idiot companies and bad companies and companies that have made so many bad decisions, BOFA, in my opinion, and others, like buying that short position, have made such bad decisions. Why would you allow these people to why would you try to keep them in business? Let them go bankrupt. Let good operators buy the assets and do the right thing. That's why they're good operators, you know what I mean? So, and that's not what happens. We keep bailing out too big to jail, too big to fail, and we keep bailing out these big corporate entities that really do an awful job running their own businesses. All right. There's your second drink of the day, sir. I digress again. So look at those markets. Something that confuses me, and I'm not going to give my opinion on Bitcoin and some of the other cryptocurrencies, but I am kind of surprised because I really did expect that everyone said that, oh, well, cryptos will be just like gold, but even better in black swan events and in events like, stock market dying of 1,000 cuts and events like Ukraine and other events. Bitcoin will outperform gold even, was the claim I heard. However, it's not doing anything. In fact, it bumped up last week, and I kind of expected the reason it bumped up last week. I was thinking maybe Russian money was flying into Bitcoin price, and that kind of thing. But according to what I heard is that money, last week's rise in Bitcoin wasn't Russian money flowing into it. It was speculators getting into Bitcoin, assuming that Russian money would get in there. And I think I read that on Zero Hedge somewhere. So, but no less, I am even surprised because I kind of somewhat expected Bitcoin to move like gold, maybe not do as well as gold, which I never expected it really would, but kind of move in a similar tandem, when equities markets get hacked down, when the dollar's getting hacked down, when black swan events come up, that Bitcoin would do like gold and go up, but it really hasn't, folks. Take a look at this chart, in fact. Overall, let's look at the 1 month chart. Other than last week, that up, when what I was told that speculators were assuming that the Russians would get involved, well, guess what happened? It's back down again. It's not following gold in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of doing its own thing. It's almost like following equities. Let me know what you think in the opinion section below, in the comments section below, which can be an opinion section as well. What do I do really well is I know what the best deals out there. I've been doing this since 1977. I'm a second generation rare coin and precious metal dealer, both the physical and the wholesale and retail markets. I know this stuff really well. It's the one thing I do better than most YouTube talking heads out there is I understand product and what the best deals out there. And for you folks that have been listening to me for months and months now, and nothing's changed. It's still the same thing. So if you want to fast forward this little section here until you see this page gone, feel free to do it. If not, what's the best deal out there for you new folks? 1 ounce bars, by far, they are the best deal out there by any of the good makers. Sunshine, Pamp Swiss, all these bars that you see here, Royal Canadian Mint, Johnson Matthey's, Balcombis. That's kind of a cool looking bar. But that's typically the Balcombis you get in plastic. And all these bars right here from good reputable dealers, you should not be paying any more than spot plus $73 for small quantities. And that is the best deal out there because once you get into sovereign coins, like Canadian Maple Leafs, Krugerrands, Eagles, that kind of thing, the premiums go up dramatically. And in fact, it's just not worth it, folks, to pay that extra premium when you can get these products for the same price. There's no advantage in Florida, especially for my local Florida peeps. Once you're over $500 in sales in Florida on bars and coins, your sales tax exempt, especially in bullion. So this is not an issue at all. It is the best deal out there. Same thing with silver bars too. I'm going to just type in silver bars. The sovereign products like Silver Eagles are ridiculously priced at $850 over. I mean, I got them cheaper than APMEX, JM, and SD bullion. So if you live in South Florida, you don't need to order online for the best deals out there in gold and silver products. I have them here at my store, and I'll beat their prices. But the best deals out there right now are still 1 ounce and 100 ounce and 10 ounce generic silvers versus the sovereign coins like Eagles. As I said, love Eagles, love Canadian Maple Leafs. They're just overpriced. And if you live in my area down here in South Florida and you just have to have those, I do have them, and I still can beat the APMEX, JM, and SD's price on Canadian products and U.S. Eagle products and stuff. But I don't recommend them. There are better deals out there. And your local coin store, if you don't live in my area, again, I don't do any shipping, so you're going to have to find a good local coin store like the Florida people down here have me. and hopefully they'll be as competitive as I am, because I advertise to beat APMEX, JM, and SD bullion. And there's nothing wrong with those companies. I'm just really competitive. I'm a local dealer, and I can do that. And what else can I do better than those big three guys? I can give advice face-to-face, can talk to you about this kind of stuff, more personal in many ways. And we're right here. Again, you can come talk to us face-to-face. And you don't have to trust the mail. Well, let's take a look and see what's going on Gtaorg. Not too many things to talk about. Well, there is some really good articles in here. You notice I've not been reading a lot of these because at some point I felt in my videos I started becoming more like a reading service. And it's not bad. I like still to read some articles. However, it'd be much better, and I'm always encouraging you folks out there to read the stuff on your own. Of course, Gta.org should be on your bookmark bar if you're a gold person and you buy gold and silver. Remember, silver folks out there, wherever gold goes, silver will eventually follow, and gold really is the metal in the time of economic black swans, all right? Silver is a metal for all time, but in economic black swans is when gold really shines, and you're seeing that right now. And this in my opinion, is what brought the price of silver up to where it is, with gold moving the way it is. Keep an eye on gold, you silver guys. But again, great site here, Gtaorg. Let's see, Ambrose. This is not a good thing if this energy shock broadens into a world food crisis. I see it happening like this. Man, I just see evil stuff going on in the background. Remember what I was talking about this morning is like, you take a look at this and look how murky and things are out there. That's kind of what we're looking at right now, very murky. Unless you're right up close to the pier or right up close to this fish, you can't see what's coming at you right now. But I tell you what's coming at you, a new world order. To some degree, I believe that is true. I think there's great battles out there going on between and I'm not talking about battles between Russia and Ukraine or Russia and the U.S. I'm just talking about battles inside countries themselves on where we're taking the world, where we're going to take the future of this world. Well, here, digress for the fourth time. That'll be the fourth shot you took of the day. Digress is the drinking word, by the way. Every time I say that, you have to have a drink. You can do coffee, too. It's morning or afternoon. I like Murphy. He talks about some pretty cool stuff on gata.org. I'd recommend you watch that. And in Fiat Ponzi, Exalt Gold. Again, get some good articles out here. Russia prepares to end tax on gold bars. We spoke about that last week, by the way. Russia is going to end their VAT tax on gold. I don't even know why they ever had one. It sounds ridiculous to me, but they're going to end it and encourage their people to buy gold to offset the devaluation of the ruble that they're seeing right now, which is really a bright idea on their part. If Putin's encouraging people to get out of the ruble and buy gold with the ruble, I think that's smart, don't you? I wish our government would do stuff like that, appeal to their citizens to buy hard money before bad things happen. Unfortunately, Putin waited until something bad happened like this, and then he tells his people to buy gold. But do it before something bad happens. Let's take a look at what else is going on out here. Sanctions and all kinds of good stuff. By the way, definitely put this on your bookmark bar, and if you haven't read this week's articles, do that for sure. What is going on out there? Listen, I had to say one thing. I don't really like this guy at all. I think he's a major Warhawk, neoconservative, and look what he's actually saying. You don't do that in politics. You don't do that in national or international politics or domestic politics. You do not call for the death of a head of state. You just don't do that. That shows you what morons these people here are. Especially at his level. This guy, I got to tell you one thing I don't like about this guy. I don't think he ever met a war or a shithole war that he didn't mind sending our kids to die in. I don't think he cares. I really don't think he cares where your kids die at. I don't think he cares how much it costs. I don't care. This guy is the ultimate war hawk, and in my opinion, he should be laying next to, well, I better not say that, but I'd be the same way, wouldn't I? No less, Mr. Rubio, please put down your war hawk bullshit and understand that we created this situation. The EU did, NATO did, the United States created this situation in Ukraine. We dangled the EU and the NATO carrot under Ukraine, a nationalistic Ukraine's nose, saying, come on, we'll let you in. And then when they finally start doing things to piss off their neighbors, i.e. Russia, we pull out the carpet from underneath their feet. I mean, come on. This was nothing. You have to, I'm not going to go there, all right? Anyways, leadership worldwide is lacking in a major way. I hope elections worldwide coming up start electing intelligent leaders that are peacemakers, not war hawks. Start electing people that are concerned with their domestic situations first, and then settle outside things last. And a world, a world of people that are sick of war and sick of the military-industrial complex taking up most of our GDP. All right. Anyways, there you go. There's my other word you can drink on as well. I'm going to move out of here because it's just depressing, the fact that all we've done, the United States, EU, and NATO, is thrown gasoline on that fire. Where the frick are the peacemakers out there? Do they exist anymore? And of course, if you watch my videos, you know I say this all the time. Elon calls for Europe to restart nuke plants. You know what? Nuclear plants, to me, I'm okay with nuke plants as long as the technology is there and as long as the safety is there. And I think that we've come a long way in nuclear technology from where we've been in the 1970s and the 60s and even the 80s. I think the technology is far greater and the safety systems are far greater. However, we are still operating older plants, but hey, why not update these plants and do the right thing? Nuclear, nothing wrong with nuclear if you can do it responsible, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the section below. Most Americans, yeah, I can't argue with that. That's 100%. We have to worry about that as well. Again, what did I say at the beginning of this video? In war, truth is the first casualty, folks. Don't trust either side to come out with the truth. Any of these sides, in fact, any of these empires that are working to divide empires. That's a pretty brilliant thing to do, and I don't want to sound like I'm pushing for this guy because he's I don't know if he's a Warhawk, but anybody that's involved with war is just not on my good list. I don't care if they were prodded into it, if someone threw gasoline on it. On the other hand, too, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Putin orders companies to make debt payments to foreign creditors in rubles. I think that's actually something that right out of the playbook of what we would do in the United States by weaponizing the US dollar. He's kind of weaponizing that ruble there. Hey, if you want your money, you're going to take it in rubles. Oh, you're going to take a big haircut on those rubles, but whose fault is that, you know? So that's kind of an interesting tit for tat there. However, none of this is good. Oil prices, food, all this stuff. War is never good, folks. Who is pushing us into war? What entities are the billionaire elites out there, the multi-trillionaire companies? Are they pushing us for global war for some specific reason to benefit themselves? I certainly would think so, because based on corporate news, which they all own, and the government, which they all own, that's, you know, intent equals results, and oftentimes results equal intentions. And if you take a look at what the results are right now, you can pretty much figure out the intentions. Corporate media, governments worldwide, not just the Russians, worldwide are pushing for war, pushing for this stuff, folks, because there are no peacemakers and there's no one out there trying to fix this. All they are, all of them, globally throwing gasoline on the fire here. And you got to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? This is a detriment to the world's people. You know, who runs the governments, all right? I know who runs corporate media, but who runs governments? We do, folks. It's time to take it back in our hands at some point. Speaking of power plants, let's see. That's just discouraging. I already went through a global Cold War where we worried when I was a kid about having nukes dropped on our head. It was pretty awful, man. Why would politicians globally, worldwide, not just the United States, EU and all over, why would they push for more war? Why would they throw gasoline on the fire with the Russians? I mean, this just makes no sense to me. Why would they flood Ukraine with more weapons, understanding that doing that, it just creates more issues for the Russians, which creates a bigger war? Where are the peacemakers? They don't exist. Why don't they exist? Because they don't want peace, folks. Your governments worldwide, not just the U.S. governments, the people in charge, the billionaires in charge out there, the covert agencies in charge out there, the bankers in charge out there, they don't want peace, folks. They want war. They're pushing for it. They throw gasoline on the fire, all right? Again, intentions equal results, results equal intentions. Just look at the results and you'll get the intentions. And this is exactly what we got going on there. Oh, about time, you moron. Sorry, had to say it, just my opinion. Anyways, as I said, don't forget, folks, this is a very important thing to remember, especially right now in war. Truth is always the first casualty. Although with corporate media and governments, we've had major issues with credibility, so this is nothing new for us. Better get used to it. Let's take a look at Friday's video, and I'd like to thank everybody that commented out there. I love the upward moves too. Phyllis, Jason, Rich, Heart of Texas, Celtic Knot. That's interesting. Kharkiv due to the bloody history of battles during World War II and the Battle of Stalingrad. It's interesting history over there for sure in Ukraine. I've learned a lot about it in the last several years. Weaponizing money when the Federal Reserve, let's hope. What kilos? David says, what's with kilos being less than 10 ounce and 100 ounce bars? Are they just more readily abundant because metric is worldwide, or are they discounted because of higher demand for tens and hundreds? It's a good question, David. It's probably a little bit of both. Years ago in the United States, 2 or 3 years ago, I couldn't sell kilo bars to save my life. Nobody wanted them. They were called off-weight silvers. But I think a newer generation buying silver and people opening up more to the metric system, that they're becoming more accepted because we sold the hell out of them real quick. They were a quarter ounce cheaper. I still got kilo bars available. They're not here in the store, but if you want to lock yours in, come in. They're spot plus 275, which is a great deal while they last. Let's go. Thanks for commenting, David. I appreciate that. And that's possible there. I can't argue with that as well. And more or less, that's kind of what happened, man. BOA is not a good situation from this Black Swan event. And again, follow gold. Silver will, if you're watching gold, silver will follow. Yep, me too. And thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Alex says thanks. So I'm running for town commissioner here. The election's tomorrow. I'll let you know what happens. I don't know what to expect. It's such a tiny little town, small election, but either way, it's been a learning experience. Welco, thank you. You as well. And Mr. Cortez asked me to leave politics alone. I didn't read this, but it's just boring. It's just part of the. Mr. Cortez is. I appreciate you watching and everything, but I think you're watching too much TV news. And good analogies, thank you, Tylen, Scott Martson. Again, don't mean to be rushing through this, just looking for some questions, and I do have to roll here shortly, folks, as well. And let's see, again, Jane, John, poor man, Ned, what's up, man? Eric, Ned says, for what it's worth, I think Lynette Zhang's reason for favoring the slab pre-33 gold tied to her family's experience with historic gold confiscation in the past. Did Lynette Zhang have someone in her family confiscate their gold, her family's gold? I don't know. That's kind of an interesting question. I'd sure be interested to know that, but I do know that there's no good reason to buy that stuff. There's no good reason to buy slab pre-33 gold other than if you're a collector, and if you're a collector, you're only going to buy 1 or 2 pieces. Collectors don't buy 10 MS63 common dates. The only people who do that were people that were conned into buying it as an alternative to buying precious metals like Krugerrands and Eagles and bars at a much lower price because the telemarketers make more money selling it that way. And again, I'd be happy to debate anybody on that. Thanks for the comment there, Ned, and have yourself a great day. Eric says what I say, no peacemakers, just Warhawks. Well, the reason is simple. They need an excuse to destroy the purchasing power even more by sending, that's sad stuff too. Yeah, this is beautiful. JP screwed the silver industry invest starting by smashing, and then they're all, it's true logic. JP Morgan, criminal what they did to precious metals markets from 2011 and up. It's criminal, and then they get the opportunity to reap the benefits on the other side of it as well. Mastermind criminals are what JP is, and I don't say that in a nice way. And again, that's my opinion, and yours too, apparently. Hello from New York. Is junk worth no, junk silver is too much still. Buy bars, better deal. Junk silver, you're going to pay spot plus 475 or higher. It's too much money. Again, you can buy generic 100-ounce bars and 10-ounce bars for spot plus $3 still, and kilos for me for spot plus 275. Don't know what's going to happen. I'll be interested as well to see what happens. Thank you for commenting, Glenn. And yeah, palladium has always been tough to get, but it's not a very popular metal as far as the retail markets go. And you're right, back in 33, very few people gave up their gold. Like today, just the fools. No one person had that much anyway. And Mark, thank you for your best wishes on tomorrow's election with me for commissioner. Well, I'm going to call it at that, folks. Let's see what happens today. I don't think we're going to break that $2,000 tonight, but could happen again this week unless all of a sudden magically peace comes back around and all these sanctions go away. But for some reason, I don't think that's happening. I think there's something bigger than Ukraine. I think they're trying to create a major event out there. I think that there's something really happening, bubbling under the scenes. You know, you notice how the Critter 19 thing all of a sudden is not an issue anymore. The world is not being screwed up. The excuse will not be the Critter 19 now. Maybe it will, but the new excuse is going to be Russia. There's a lot here to think about and ponder, folks. Do not trust what you're watching on news, whether it's Fox or CNN. Don't trust corporate news. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. Go out and look for yourself. Be logical. Read about history. Read about the factual things that have happened in these countries and globally, and you'll be a smarter person for it. Don't trust the news. That's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metal. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you with anything you need. And that's it. Talk to you later. Let's see what happens tonight, and have yourself a great day. Bye now.